Hi, Michelle here again. Today we're going to talk about relationships. Relationships, when you have PMDD, are complicated, to put it lightly. Part of the problem is, I can only speak for myself, but I do know, I have spoken with hundreds of women who have PMDD, and it seems to be pretty much the nature. We can't really tell if a problem in a relationship that we are in, especially romantic relationships, but often friends, family, coworkers, we can't tell if it's us or them. Part of PMDD is constantly worrying that we are upsetting someone or saying the wrong thing or doing something wrong. And so when a relationship ends or becomes hard, we often take that on ourselves and stay longer than we should, or don't stand up for ourselves with our partners because we honestly feel that the problem is us. Once you get to a point where you can determine that, and it's really, really difficult, it's still not any easier to make any of those changes, because once you have determined in your mind through most of your life that you may not be worthy of being loved, or you may not be normal, and that it's difficult to love you. That's a word that a lot of people use for us. It's hard to accept that we have value. In a relationship, it's hard to accept that we believe that we're worthy of being in a relationship. Unfortunately, the paranoia and the distrust that comes up regularly can really drive a wedge into a relationship. It's extremely important to communicate with people and let them know, look, I'm having a really insecure day. I need a little support, and if you can't do that, then let's not talk today. It's really important that partners of people, family members, loved ones, friends, whatever, who care about someone with PMDD also seek help, because it takes a little bit of different coping skills to, say, have an argument with someone like us. It takes a little bit more skill to calm us down if need be. You have to be a really strong person to love one of us and to stay. It's just the way it is. You have to be willing to listen, even if we have to talk for hours. You have to be willing to tell us what's going on in your mind, because if you don't, our disease will tell us a lot of things that aren't true. Fear, or the perception that we are being cheated on or lied to, is more so than with any other people that I know of. Unfortunately, because of the nature of relationships, a lot of us have been cheated on or lied to, and it sticks with us. It gets somehow wrapped up in that illness, so every 3 weeks, you start feeling that someone's lying to you. You start feeling that someone's cheating on you. You feel distrustful. And to be a loving partner of someone who has that distrust is hard. It's not that we distrust you. It's not that we distrust the people we are in a relationship with. It's that our brain won't let us trust all the time. Maybe the rest of the time, we completely believe everything and know that you're telling the truth. But if you're in a relationship with a woman who has PMDD and she tells you she's suspicious of something, the worst thing you can do is blame it on her illness or blow it off. You need to take the time to talk with her. Explain to her what you're really feeling, and then she can explain to you what signs or signals you may accidentally be giving off that trigger her to worry and to be untrusting. Wow, relationships are a tough one. I myself just finalized a divorce. I was married for 15 years. It was not always easy, never is. But it took many years for me to realize that it wasn't me. all me anyway. It's always some me, always some of everybody. But it took me a long time to realize that I was in an unhealthy relationship and my needs were not being met. And that he really had no intention of meeting those needs. Not out of just withholding them from me, but probably dealing with his own issues and having dealt with my PMDD for so many years before we even had a diagnosis. We were battered by the time we got to the point where I knew it was an illness, and it was almost too late for him to understand because we'd already had 12 years of fights and crying and distrust. Unfortunately, it's a chicken or egg situation. If one person in the relationship doesn't trust the one who's not being trusted will probably do something that they shouldn't. And that's what happened with me. I'm not going to take full blame for that relationship ending, and I'm not going to take full blame for him doing things that were not part of our marriage. But I will take some blame, because if I had known that the way I was feeling was an illness, or known that there was something I could do about it, maybe I wouldn't have pushed it so hard, or maybe I would have left earlier before I don't know, before it was too late. It's hard. You can't go back. Relationships since the marriage have been difficult, but I am in treatment. I am extremely upfront with anyone that I'm involved with about my illness. I recommend that they read my blog, read my website stuff, and to really understand before they even agree to try to be in a relationship with me. Full disclosure, if I had a communicable disease, if I was a transvestite or transgender, if I had no intention of being in a committed relationship and was just dating around, I would expect full disclosure with my partners, people I was interested in seeing, with those things. So with this illness, I think it's the same. One of the worst things that we can do is fake it, pretend the disease doesn't exist and that we don't have these problems, and wait until there is a problem and we blow up and have an episode, and then try and fix the relationship. If two people come into it together, understanding that there are going to be some issues and that those issues will need to be addressed with clear communication, emotional support, and just being there for us, and sometimes not being there for us. Sometimes we need to be alone more than most people. And there are partners who can't deal with that. They see that as us pushing them away, or that we don't want them. And it's really important that people understand our alone time is a healing time. It is necessary for our survival. If I have to be with another person all day, every day, and not get a break to myself or get a rest, I'm going to have a breakdown. It's just the nature of the beast. Boy, what do I want? I think what we all want, every single person, is just to be accepted and loved for who we are. I thought I had that, and things went wrong a couple of times. Happens to everybody. I have basically come to the conclusion that I really don't think I would ever be able to live with a man. Makes me kind of sad. If I am in love with someone and I want to spend my time and my life with them, it really sucks to have a reason that I can't. But the more time I spend with someone I care about, the harder it is for them to care about me. So, I guess as far as relationships go, I try to take things a little at a time, be extremely cautious with my feelings and my words, and communicate to the best of my ability. But I do feel like this illness has stolen a possible future that I could have had. if I was better, if I was suddenly cured, I'd probably dream of somebody showing up in my life and falling madly in love with me and wanting to marry me. I probably would. But I just don't see that as an option for me. Maybe if I knew about it earlier, there'd be a chance. And maybe some of the younger girls out there, if you can get some therapy and some counseling and know that you have to be open and honest about this, then maybe it'll work for you. Some people have found the most amazing partnerships, and their partners are everything to them, and they wouldn't be able to survive their PMDD without them, and they are truly blessed. And I really wish that for all of you.